So picture this. You got a brain, right? But it ain't just any brain. See, this thing's like some kind of super advanced, souped up computer, constantly crunching numbers, connecting dots, and seeing patterns that the rest of us schmucks just completely miss. That's the INFJ mind, folks. But here's the kicker. What makes this thing so impossible to compete with? Why do these INFJs always seem to be, a step ahead, anticipating stuff that we can't even imagine? In this video, we're going to try and unpack the mystery behind the INFJ's so-called intellectual edge. Spoiler alert, folks, it ain't just some kind of hocus-pocus intuition thing. It's the whole damn mental architecture. So stick around and we'll reveal exactly why the INFJ mind is a force to be reckoned with, and why competing with it seems, well, next to impossible. All right, so check this out. INFJs, right? They're all like complex thought weavers. So here's the deal. The number one reason why you ain't gonna win against an INFJ in a battle of wits, they ain't thinking in straight lines, see? Nah, that's for the pigeons. These guys, they're all about the web. Most folks, they're going from A to B, simple as that. But an INFJ, they're seeing the whole freaking map. It's like their brain's a spider web. Every thought, every dumb thing that's ever happened to them, it's all connected. Try explaining something to one of these INFJs. You'll see. They don't just spit out the answer. Oh no, they gotta give you the whole song and dance, the whole freaking mental road trip that got them there. They're connecting dots between their crummy childhood, some half-baked theories, and these so-called insights to give you the big picture. Now, this is where it gets good, because it's confusing the hell out of people. INFJs, they don't just give you the answer. They hand you the whole damn instruction manual that led them to that conclusion. So when they got an opinion, it ain't just some fact they pulled out of thin air. They're giving you a complex worldview based on this crazy network of thoughts they got going on in that overactive brain of theirs. And if you ain't on their level, you're just standing there watching them solve a puzzle that makes absolutely no sense. And that's because INFJs, they process the world in a way deeper, more complex way. All right, so check this out. Point number 2. The INFJ's emotional intelligence, it's like an intellectual powerhouse or something. So let's rap about the INFJ's emotional intelligence, which is like the next reason their mind is, impossible to compete with. This is where their power's at, not just in how they think, but in how they feel and how they use those feelings to fuel their intellect. INFJs don't just process emotions like your average Joe. They got this rare ability to intuitively understand what others are feeling without them even saying a word. They can pick up on micro expressions, subtle shifts in tone, and even energy changes in the room. They're like emotional X-ray visionaries, able to decode people's inner worlds and motives in an instant. But here's where it gets interesting, see? It's not just about reading emotions. It's about using this awareness to enhance their understanding of complex situations. When an INFJ interacts with someone, they're not just hearing words. They're processing emotional subtext and context, blending it with their analytical thinking to create a more comprehensive perspective. This empathy doesn't just make them good listeners, it makes them incredibly astute judges of character and intent, a skill that gives them a huge edge in both personal relationships and professional environments. So this emotional mumbo-jumbo and brainy stuff, yeah, they don't just hang out. They're like tag teaming, pushing the INFJ to see what's really up. In a world where feelings are either a joke or totally ignored, this INFJ's brain, it's uniquely screwed up to get the whole human thing on a deep level. And while everyone else is stumbling around, the INFJ's touchy-feely smarts, a total mental powerhouse, giving them the inside scoop nobody else can touch. Thirdly, the INFJ's instinct for pattern recognition. So INFJs, they don't just see the world, they read it, One of the biggest reasons why the INFJ mind is so impossible to compete with is their remarkable ability for pattern recognition. Most people, they see isolated events, but the INFJ, they connect them. They recognize hidden patterns that most others miss. It ain't just a mental trick, it's how their brains work. An INFJ walks into a room, they immediately start making connections, not just about what's happening now, but also about how past events and future outcomes are interrelated. Think of it like this. You're looking at a puzzle, you see a jumble of pieces scattered on the table. The INFJ, they see the completed image before even picking up the first piece. They process life through patterns, connecting unrelated ideas, facts, and experiences to form a coherent big picture. This allows them to anticipate outcomes and strategize in ways that others just can't. Where others see chaos, An INFJ sees an underlying order that informs their decisions. So this whole gift for noticing patterns, that's what makes these INFJs such brilliant problem solvers, apparently. They're not just sweating the small stuff, they're all about the big picture, which I guess lets them stumble onto solutions nobody else even thought of. The ability to see how everything's connected over time and predict the future based on that, that's what makes the INFJ mind so impossible to, compete with. Their intuition, it's a damn superpower that lets them waltz through complexity while everyone else is still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. All right, settle down, folks. I got another gem for you. Fourthly, INFJs, they process information deeply and quickly. Yeah, I know, sounds thrilling, right? See, one of the amazing things about the INFJ mind, and I use that term loosely, is their ability to process information real fast, but keep it deep. They don't just skim, folks, they go deep. And they do it faster than you can say existential crisis. When they see new stuff, ideas, whatever, their minds don't just take it in. They connect it to everything else they already know. It's like some kind of mental supercomputer processing complex crap in real time. Meanwhile, the rest of us are still trying to figure out which way is up. This fast but deep thing lets INFJs figure stuff out quick and accurately. They don't need to analyze every little detail, like some of us schmucks. They can skip right to the point and see patterns, motivations, and outcomes. But here's the kicker. This mental speed doesn't make them miss stuff. INFJs can process and understand tons of info without missing the important stuff, and that's what makes their minds so formidable. They don't just know stuff, they know how and why things are connected in ways you can't even imagine. So get this, right? This incredible ability to think real quick and real deep, it's because the INFJ, bless their hearts, they just gotta internalize everything. They're like sponges, okay? But not just any sponges. These are artisanal, imported sponges for knowledge. And they don't just store the stuff, no. They gotta process it, connect the dots that would take, normal people weeks, months even, to figure out. That's why when you're talking problem solving, decision making, forget about it. The INFJ mind, you can't compete. Seriously. They're operating on a whole other level intellectually. It's agility you can't even imagine. All right, fifthly, the INFJ's relentless drive for meaning and purpose. So what makes the INFJ mind so impossible to compete with? It's not just their intellect or their ability to process information. It's their relentless drive for meaning and purpose. These INFJs, they don't just go through life casually. They want deep, meaningful experiences in everything they do. Whether it's their work, their relationships, or their personal growth, they are constantly searching for a higher purpose in every situation. This drive for meaning fuels every decision they make. INFJs are always asking, does this align with my core values? Or will this help me achieve something greater than myself? And this question isn't just a passing thought, it's a guiding principle that shapes their entire worldview. Unlike many people who may be motivated by status, material success, or short-term goals, INFJs are guided by an internal compass that points them toward long-term fulfillment and personal integrity. Can you believe that? Whoa, so the INFJ mind, right, it ain't just about climbing the ladder for kicks. They gotta feel like they're, saving the world or something. That's why you find them knee-deep in do-gooder gigs, whether it's finger painting, shrink sessions, or shouting at rallies. Forget the fluff. They need their hustle to actually, matter. And this whole purpose-driven thing, that's what makes them so damn persistent. Others might bail when the going gets tough, but these INFJs, nah, they're too busy chasing some grand vision only they can see. This whole meaning of life gig doesn't just juice their brains. It gives them laser focus and the grit to handle stuff that'd make normal folks run screaming. It's this weird mix of smarts and a never say die attitude that makes the INFJ mind, dare I say, unbeatable. All right, so sixthly, the INFJ's quiet resilience and mental strength. The INFJ mind, not just intellectually sharp and emotionally intelligent, it's also incredibly resilient. While others, they might crumble under pressure, but INFJs, we have this unique ability to remain calm, collected, even when things get real chaotic. Their mental strength? Quiet, sure, but formidable. It lets them weather the emotional storms, navigate life's challenges with unwavering focus. This quiet resilience, it comes from their inner core. the part that holds onto their sense of purpose and values even when everything around them seems uncertain. INFJs, they don't need to be loud or forceful to be strong. They rely on their deep sense of self and the internal wisdom they've gathered over years of introspection. Gives them a powerful ability to endure when others might burn out or give up. You know, what makes the INFJ mind such a pain in the you-know-what is that this mental toughness, it's coupled with their ability to stay empathetic and sensitive. They don't lose touch with their feelings, but instead they learn to manage them so it empowers them instead of overwhelming them. They can face adversity with grace, and when the world pushes them down, they get back up stronger, more determined, and with an even clearer idea of where they're going. The INFJ's mental resilience doesn't just make them tough, it makes them strategic. They don't react impulsively to pressure or fear. Instead, they process the situation, plan their next move, and stay grounded in their values. This quiet strength is what enables them to thrive in situations that would leave others shattered. When you add this resilience to their intellectual agility, you have a mind that's truly impossible to compete with. So there you have it. Share your thoughts below, would ya? And if you're not subscribed yet, well, you're free to do whatever you want, ain't ya? See ya in the next one.